Hello everybody watching on YouTube and everybody watching live on Twitch, where, plug, I stream every Tuesday and Friday, so you should come watch. But today, we are looking at the Night of Vespers player card expansion. This is a showcase. I'm going to be looking at all the investigators, all of the player cards from this expansion, which I believe down the road is going to have a campaign expansion as well. And this was designed by aughhhh, or aughhhh, or just Noise of Pain, from when I look at the username. But I'm very excited to look at this. I always love checking out new player card expansions. And I also really would love to print out these player card expansions, because I think that would just be kind of fun. But in the meantime, I'm just going to play them here on Tabletop Simulator. Alright, let's check out. So there are 5 custom investigators, and then there are a bunch of player cards that we're going to be looking at. So we should start with the custom investigators and give our thoughts on them. So, Simone Toussaint, 4314, the Priestess, Warden in Witch soaks for 5 and 8 before she untimely dies. As a reaction, after you activate an action ability on a spell asset, ignore any other cost that ability may require. This asset does not exhaust. Limit once per round. Interesting. So, it doesn't spend charges, right? Like, that's the base for this. You get 1 free charge a round. If the charges are... So, let's just pull up Shriveling. Yeah, so you get the 1 charge a round. That ability, so ignore any cost that ability may require. So the spending the charge is a cost on that ability. So you basically get a Twyla every turn. Notably, you are a guardian, so you have to work for it a bit more. Very interesting. Okay. Lightning Bolt. You may spend a charge on a spell asset under your control to draw a card, limit once per turn. Alright, look at that. So you don't have to spend a charge. You can spend a charge to use the ability, and then as if you spend that charge, you can use it to draw a card. I think that's really clever. Elder Sign Effect. +1. You may spend a charge on a spell asset under your control to automatically succeed. Cool. That's fun. That's fun. Really strong on Brand of Cthugha. I'm pretty sure Brand of Cthugha, it's not part of its cost. Yeah, so the cost over here is actually just the action ability for Brand of Cthugha. Okay. Deck building is Guardian 0 to 5, Neutral 0 to 5, Spells 0 to 4, which I think is pretty reasonable. Can't get the level 5 spells. And up to 10 Mystic cards level 0. There's the signatures and then no firearm or melee cards. So you only get a fight with your spells, which makes sense because you are a one-fist Guardian, which for some reason, in my mind, I didn't really pick up on until right now. Even though I said the stat line out loud. Okay. Sigil of Asruly Dentor. Keepsake from the Waters. 2 cost, accessory slot, item charm relic, commits for brain fist. As a lightning bolt, attach a spell asset with uses to this. It does not take up any slots. Limit 2 attached assets. That seems pretty good. And as a reaction, when you perform a test on a spell asset attached to it, draw a card. Ooh! That seems like a very strong signature. But I mean, it kind of has to make up for it because you don't use any of your... You don't get any guns or melee. You have to fight specifically with spells. So you're going to need to, draw spells to replace those spells, and this helps you do that. Nice. You also technically don't need to fight. You could just get clues, but it's not really what you want to be doing as a guardian. You're going to be ignoring a big part of your pool, and the soak doesn't seem too appealing with this character, but I like the design. It's really neat. Let's check out the signature weakness. Revelation, so this is Gaze the Duchess. Revelation, remove a charge from each asset with uses charges under your control. If you cannot take 1 direct damage or remove any assets with 0 remaining charges from the game. If there are more than 5 cards left in your deck, shuffle the Gaze of the Duchess back into your deck. That's a spooky weakness. That is a spooky weakness. So, it reshuffling back in seems a little bit spooky. when you are built to draw a crap ton of cards, right? Notably, this also, it has a downside. So if it doesn't remove charges, it's still going to ding you. It's still going to ding you. That seems like a very spooky weakness to reshuffle back in. Especially because, I mean, like, the cost of removing charges basically means that you don't really need to spend a charge. Like, it's pretty easy to defend your direct damage. Like, it's easy to defend yourself there. It seems pretty manageable. It's mostly the reshuffling back in is a little bit spooky. It's a little bit spooky. All right. We have Colin Montgomery. This is the Seeker. 2/4/3/3 for the stats. It's a system criminal, otherwise known as the Bookie. Soaks for 6 and 8 before he untimely dies. As a reaction, when a test you're performing succeeds by 2 or more, you may play an event card from your hand, paying its cost. If that event card was fast, it costs 2 less resources, limit once per round. One thing I love about these 2 that I've seen so far is that the abilities are really nice and simple, as investigator abilities, I think, for the most part, should be. Elder Sign effect is 0. Shuffle an event card in your discard pile back into your deck. Seems nice and simple. You love it. All right. Seeker 0-5, Neutral 0-5, Illicit 0-2, and up to 10 Rogue events 0-3. Interesting. That is a lot. There's a lot that you could potentially do there. I love the burglary that you can, take advantage of. And really, this guy's actually going to end up being pretty much like, if you want, this guy could be very rogue heavy, right? Because illicit cards are mostly rogue, as we know by Fran Edwards. And what this also means is that those don't count for your 10 rogue event cards. So you actually can have like a really strong, this could be a very big Seeker rogue. This is like essentially our 5/2 Seeker rogue here. So curious to see what can happen with that. All right, let's check out the signatures. The O'Banion Family Ledger, Volume 2. Circa 1915 to 1925. It's an item tome illicit, 3 cost, takes up a hand slot, exhaust it and choose 1. Gain 2 resources. You may shuffle an event card in your discard pile back into your deck. Investigate. You get +2 book for this investigation. If you succeed, you may search the top 2 cards of your deck for an event and add it to your hand. Those both effects seem very powerful. As it should for taking up a hand slot, but that seems like a really nice effect. Farsight with some level 3 backstabs and pilfers. That does seem pretty sick. Black Lung. Oh, crap. I got the Black Lung paw. Remove. So, Revelation, you must decide. Choose 1. Remove each event in your discard pile from the game and shuffle Black Lung back into your deck. Discard each event from your card. Take 1 direct horror for each card discarded this way. If you can do neither, take 1 direct horror and shuffle this card back into your deck. Spooky. Once again, spooky. It seems like, I don't know, the weaknesses seem heavily tuned so far. This one, like you compare this to Ashcan Pete and his Racked by Nightmares, and it's like an Ancient Evils versus Foot Bad. It's spooky. I'd have to see how it goes, and I'd have to try playing it with it to really decide, but it does seem very menacing. Okay. Elsie Malone. It is our informant, our rogue. It's a criminal. 4/2/2/4. Your assets with uses secrets enter play with 1 additional secret on them. Are you a seeker? You are a seeker in secrets. Wow. After you spend a secret on one of your assets, add the set-aside quid pro quo skill card to your hand, limit once per round. Interesting. Okay, I'm curious to see what this all is, but I kind of dig it. Effect +0, you may spend 2 secrets to automatically succeed. A dame that knows the ropes isn't likely to get tied up. I don't know why I read the flavor text on her, but I just did. 8/6 for the soak. And where's our weakness? Lady, do you not have a signature weakness? You do. You're supposed to. Well, we'll just have to pretend. All right. So, Rogue 0 to 3, Neutral 0 to 5, cards with uses 0 to 5, uses secrets rather, 0 to 5, and up to 5 secret cards 0. Interesting. Alright, quid pro quo. This is the signature, commits for a wild, it's a gambit, a favor, and a service. When it would be discarded from anywhere, set aside how to play instead. Commit only to a skill test you're performing. Choose one, it gains wild. If it's successful, gain 3 resources. If it's successful, draw a card. Yeah, I mean, that seems pretty fine. But no signature weakness. So we're gonna kind of just go on from Elsie. Maybe we'll check her out again in the future. All right, we got Edith Foster, the Occultist. Love the art on this card. 3s across the board. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 3s across the board? We know what that means. All right. Cultist Believer 7/7 Soak. When you succeed at testing an attribute listed on an engraving card under your control, draw a card or gain a resource. Limit once per round. Plus X Elder Sign on the Elder Sign, where X is the number of engravings assets under your control. All right, so Mystic 0 to 2. Interesting. Neutral 0 to 5, Occult 0 to 5, up to 3 level 0 permanents purchased at deck creation from any class. My brain's not big enough to comprehend this while reading this right now, but that does seem like a very interesting deck building style, doesn't it? What are like occult cards? Let's just like pull up. Let's just, because I'm curious. Why does this recent deck on ARKHAM have the Phyrexian symbol on it? Hello? Okay. Is that it? Is that it? I imagine there's going to be a bunch of stuff in the expansion, because right now this do not make a good upgrade pool. This does not make a great upgrade pool, does it? Because you have Mystic 0 to 2, Neutral 0 to 5, and Occult 0 to 5. So that's not really a deep upgrade pool. But Father Mateo's still got Mystic cards, right? Because the Mystic 0 to 2, that's a very small pool of cards. Alright, but let's check out some additional requirements. You begin each scenario with Written in Blood in your opening hand. At the beginning of the scenario, if your deck contains 2 or less engraving assets, shuffle each engraving, not including your deck, together and set them aside out of play. You may not have more than 3 engraving assets in your deck. Okay. Written in Blood. When you play Written in Blood, take 1 damage and choose 1. Randomly choose one of your set-aside engraving cards and immediately add it to your deck. These cards do not contribute to your deck size. Remove Written in Blood from the game. Search top 9 cards of your deck for a card that either has a trait or is from a class listed on an engraving card under your control. You may add it to your hand or play that card, paying its cost. Shuffle Written in Blood back into your deck. Either just a trait or is it from a class? Listen, all right, let's check out these engravings because this is where. Okay. There's multiple layers to discover here, is what we're learning. Okay. All right, engraving of the deep. Here we go. She's basically like a mystic neutral from the looks of it. Okay. Edith Foster deck only. You get +1 foot and -1 health. Your deck building options gain the following text. Up to 5 rogue cards, 0 to 3. Force. If you do not succeed at a test, you're taken by 2 or more, lose a resource. Ay caramba. Engraving on the silence. You get +1 foot and -1 sanity. Your deck building gains the following text. Up to 5 relic cards, 0 to 5. Your deck cannot include more than 1 copy of each card of these by title. When you fail an evade action, discard an asset in your control, otherwise known as never take a fucking evade action. Am I right? Alright. Mark of the Lurker. You get +1 to have book and -1 health. Your deck building options gain the following text. Up to 5 curse cards, level 0 to 5. Your deck cannot include more than 1 of each of these cards by title. When you take a amount of damage, lose an action. That's horrible. That's terrible. Oh my god, that's a big downside. Holy hell. Mark of the... I love the art for all these. Edith Foster only, a +1 book and -1 sanity. Seeker 0 to 3. When you fail and investigate, discard a card at random from your hand. Oh my god, the downside seems really tough. Engraving of the Sacrifice, +1 brain, -1 health. It's Survivor 0 to 3. When you fail a test on treachery, take 1 damage. 4 damage rotting remains. Oh, sorry, 4 damage grasping hands. Mark of the Faceless. +1 brain, -1 sanity. Gain the following text up to 5 ally cards, level 0 to 5. Your deck cannot include more than 1 of these by title. When an ally asset control is defeated, I will doom to the agenda. Whew! The downsides of these are really tough. But I mean, I suppose it makes your deck building, like, very versatile, right? +1 fist, -1 health. Guardian 0 to 5. When you fail a test on a fight action, take 1 horror. And then... +1 fist, this is Mark of the Living Flame. +1 fist, -1 sanity. Your deck building is the following text of 5 weapon cards 0 to 5. Your deck cannot include more than 1 of these. When you take any amount of horror, lose 1 action. Holy cow. Alright, then what's our weakness? Random blood. Start with random blood. At the end of the scenario, if your deck contains 2 or less engraving assets, shuffle into engraving, not including your deck, and set them aside out of play. Interesting. So you actually have to... You start like a little... You start with like nothing. And then you're going to be slowly adding cards to your deck. But notably, the 0 to 3 doesn't do much, right? Because you actually don't get to start with an engraving, right? You don't get to start with an engraving. Huh. I think the idea is really neat. Like, being able, like, you're doing rituals to make yourself better. You probably want to start with an engraving, though, right? You probably want one that's, like, you do at the beginning of your game. At the beginning of the game. Like, while you're building your deck. Because otherwise, there's, like, no reason... Unless you're doing the rogue and you're buying adaptable, there's like no reason for the level 0 to be on here. Because like, why would you want to spend experience on that? So if I may pretend that my opinion matters and I can offer a suggestion, I do think that Edith would be a nice boost to be able to start with one of the engravings in play. Like you start with you choose an engraving at deck construction. I love the idea of adding more slowly. I just think you need at least one other to give you a reason for there to be level 0 to 3. Otherwise, it should just be level like 1 to 3 for these. You know, if you get what I'm saying? Apart from outside of Rogue, because you can get adaptable, because it feels terrible to spend experience on level 1 cards. Alright, what's our weakness? Consumed. Oh... Trigger the forced effect on each engraving card under your control. If you have 2 or less engraving cards in play, you must choose one of their effects to resolve twice. This is actually not terrible. It seems scary. If you don't control an engraving card, take 1 damage and self-consume back into your deck. Yeah, I think honestly, it seems scary, but I think it's actually not that bad because you can kind of just prepare for it. You only have 1 copy of it, right? So you can kind of just like let it come, and like just okay, I'm gonna lose a resource, and I'm gonna take a damage, and I'm going to add a dupe to the agenda. Like you just kind of like you can like build for it, right? You can kind of just expect for it to be coming. But I do think that it would be nice to have 1 engraving at the start of the game, and then you can also lose that text on the bottom. Because then it always triggers, right? Neat idea, though. Neat idea. But I think for me, I wouldn't want to play her. Or I would want these to just be level 1 to 3. Because the 0 to 3, you know, it doesn't actually matter, right, for the 0. Anyways, let's go to Sebastian Benitz, the Protege, the Survivor, otherwise known as the Investigator. I'm always most excited for. 4-1, 4-2. Interesting stat line. I kind of dig it. As a reaction, so this guy's the Protege, 9-5 Soak, Socialite and Drifter. As a reaction, after test you are taking fails. Can you start with the engraving since they're the level 0 perms? Up to 3 level 0 permanent. No, these are not level. These don't have a level, right? They're player cards, so they don't have a level. So you don't start with them. Alright, after a test you are taking fails, but before resolving its effects, spend 2 resources. You may perform that test again. If that test succeeds, you may return a card committed to either test to your hand. Limit once per failed test. Interesting. So it's kind of like a bit of a Silas with a little bit of a Stella. Like they're like merging them together to some sort of a monstrosity and throwing Schizo Tool in there for good measure. Alright, Elder Sign effect. +2, if you're attempting this test for the first time, you may choose to automatically fail. Wild! That's a wild Elder Sign. Alright, deck building. Survivor, 0-5. Favor, Fortune and Gambit, 0-3. Neutral, 0-5. Up to 5 other Rogue and or Mystic cards, level 0. Interesting. One copy of Kane Alien. That's currently not here. Oh no, here it is. Kane Alien Esquire. Oh, there we go. One copy of Cameo. They both have like names on them. They both have. That's on me. I think that's a very interesting Elder Sign effect. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of variety in which you can approach this guy's deck building, right? You can go big money. You can just do Survivor, tested 0. He has 4 Fist, which is a really fun number for a Survivor to have, right? We don't have a 5 Fist Survivor, do we? I mean, Daniela. We do have a 5 Fist Survivor, Daniela Reyes. All right, let's see what this guy does. Kane Alien Esquire. So notably, allies that are signatures need to be very good to compete with other allies. So this guy's a 1 for 2/2 Soak, which is a really good rate, because then that implies that you don't want him to stay around forever. He's just kind of like, you know, he can die eventually. As a reaction, after you fail a test, exhaust Kane Alien Esquire and choose 1. You gain a resource. That's really nice. Immediately disengage from one enemy at your location until the end of the round. That enemy cannot engage or attack you. Yeah, it's a good effect. It's a good effect. All right, let's see the weakness. Cameo, the Great Prince. So this takes up the ally slot. So we add a Baron Samedi here. Revelation. Put Cameo, the Great Prince, into play. Search your deck and discard pile and play area for Kane Alien Esquire and set him aside out of play. While Cameo, the Great Prince, is in play, Sebastian Benitz cannot succeed a test without triggering the ability on his Investigator card. Interesting. As an action, take 2 direct horror. We have 5. Discard Cameo, the Great Prince, and shuffle Kane Alien Esquire back into your deck. Huh. That's tough. The 2 direct horror is pretty spooky. This guy doesn't seem to have a lot of card draw, so you're unlikely to see him twice. But interesting. I like the flavor of all these. The flavor on these are all really cool. The one I think that interests me most is probably... These 2 are very interesting, I think. I like both of them a lot. All right, but let's get to the player cards. We're done with the investigators. Let's look at the custom player cards that are included in this expansion, starting with the Guardian cards. We got La Seren's Favor. 3 cost. This is a ritual. Takes up the spell slot. Limit 1 per investigator. You get +1 foot. Damage on a horror dealt to other investigators. Your location may be assigned to this card. La Serene's Favor. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation on all these cards. We're just going to nip that in the bud right now. Interesting. You have +1 foot. Oh, okay. She has 4. Turn that into a 5. Okay, yeah, no, I see that. I see that there. All right. And the upgraded version has 3 experience, still 3 cost, soaks for 2 and 2 now, but you also get +1 brain and +1 foot. Very interesting, but I mean, like, you also, it's not a spell, but, like, you're supposed to, like, hold your spells on this, which then allows her to use these in those slots. Also gets a brain and a foot symbol. Neat cards, nice and simple. And honestly, you gotta love nice and simple for player cards. Alright, Divinity Within. This is a 0-cost Blessed Boon. Take up to 3 damage. For each point of damage you take, you may heal 1 damage from investigators or ally cards at your location. So you can deal yourself 3 damage, and then heal that 3 damage. Honestly, even though that sounds kind of silly, I would love for them to explore the design space of cards that make healing better, not in the sense that healing is better, but in the sense that you get a benefit if you are healed. And I think a card like this, like obviously, yeah, healing allies is very good, but I would love to see a design space explore. What this does for me, from a design perspective, is it opens up the, what if there was a card that allowed to benefit an investigator for getting healed? And I do think that a card like this could see printed in the game. Also, yeah, the healing other people or allies is also very, very nice. Upgraded version is level 2. It's fast. Take up to 3 damage. For each point of damage you may heal. Yeah, okay, so it's just fast. Great art, too. Great to kill the regular man and Tommy. Let's go! Let's go! Yeah, I think the card's cool. Alright, Harassing Fire. This is a level 0 skill. It's a tactic. Is this official art? Because that looks like Mark Harrigan and Winifred Habermuck. Hey, damn next 22 months at the Golden Table. Thank you for your support. Hope you're having a great freaking Friday. And I hope you have a good weekend, too. Alright, commit to a test on a firearm asset. As additional cost to commit this card, you may spend any amount of ammo on that asset. Harassing Fire gains 1 fist for each ammo spent. If this test succeeds, you may draw 1 card for each ammo you spent during this action. It's from a French Lovecraft project. Interesting. Yeah, card seems good. And honestly, this actually seems like a pretty... I think it's a nice, simple card that I could see printed in an actual game. Just turning ammo, like even if you just like are Mark Harrigan and you shoot your gun and you're testing at 8 with this card and it just replaces itself, it's kind of like an overpower. It's kind of like another overpower. You also can, like, if you're spending a lot of ammo, it becomes like a super overpower. I think it's a fun card. Okay. Ijaya Trinket. Interesting. 1 cost, item, charm, occult. Takes up the hand slot, uses 3 charges. If it has no charges, discard it. After a non-elite enemy attacks you, spend 1 charge and exhaust Ijaya Trinket. That enemy is not ready during the next upkeep. Whew! That's a good card. That's a great card. Yeah, Daniela card, yeah. That's a great card. The design on that card's incredible. A lot of design space to explore in terms of decks as well. I think it's cool. Alright, the upgraded version, it's 2 experience. 3 charges. If it has no charges, discard it. After enemy attacks, you spend 1 charge and exhaust it. Cancel the attack. If that enemy is not elite, exhaust that enemy and is not ready during the next upkeep phase. Ah, it cancels the attack now. I was like, what's the difference? It cancels the attack if it's non-elite. Yeah, I mean, like, seems good, right? Like, seems even better than the first one, as it should. Yeah, great card. I love the hell out of that. Head 'em off. This is a tactic. 3 cost, 1 experience, tactic event. Fast. Play when an enemy's hunter or patrol keyword would cause it to move into another investigator's location. Move 1 location at a time to that location and cancel that enemy's next attack. Okay. It's expensive. Like, 3 cost is a lot, right? 3 cost is a lot for an effect that, honestly, now that the hype of the card has settled, is going to trigger a lot less than you want it to. I think the design on it's really neat, but I do think that most of the time this is going to end up just not working as optimally as you want, but there will be cases where it's very good, which is probably, you know, worth the card existing in some decks. The level 4 version, alright, this one better be really good. Fast. Play when an enemy's hunter patrol keyword, cause it to attack another investigator. Move one location at a time to that location and cancel that enemy's attack. Then take a fight action against that enemy. This attack ignores the retaliate keyword. Okay, a bit more compression here. I think it's expensive again. I think this one, like, being able to fight back is a really nice upgrade. But I do think that, I think the cards are cool, but they're not, but I mean, like, an enemy's hunter is pretty easy to manage, but I don't think it's worth 3, because most of the time you're staying together, and you're just gonna, like, move one location. The fight thing is really nice, though. It is really nice. But I just think that it's, like, it's gonna trigger less than you think it would by reading the card, you know? It's just like, I think my hype is settled, and I'm like, yeah, the card's cool, but I don't think it was as, like, crazy as it was when I first had my read on it. Show of Bravery. This commits for, it's a skill, it's innate. Silas, my boy! Silas! Brain, Wild, Fist, Wild. So just Brain, Fist, Wild. For each point of horror on your investigator, this card loses an icon of your choice. That's great flavor text, but I don't want to die. Oh, be quiet. People die. It's practically what we're made for. My internet's down again. Alright, I paused it. Alright, we're back. I think the card's cool. I think it's a cool card. It's a nice, simple skill. And I mean, like, you just choose the ones you're not using first. Like, if it's a brain test, you choose Fist, and you have 2 horror on you. Likewise, if it's a fist test, you choose Brain. But this card actually would be kind of sick in Silas. Alright. Isaac Orlovsky. The Henpecked Hitman. It's a 3 cost ally asset. It's a criminal. Soaks for 2 and 1. At the end of your turn, heal 1 damage from Isaac Orlovsky. That's a good effect. After you take damage from an enemy attack, exhaust him, shuffle the top 3 cards of your deck together and draw 1 of them. Discard the other 2 cards. Interesting. This guy's basically just Peter Sylvester, right? Great card. I love it. I love it from top to bottom. I think it's a great card. 3 cost, 2 experience. He commits for a book symbol now and a brain symbol. Good guy. He has 3 and 1 for soak, so he's continued his Pete Sylvester train. You get +1 brain. And they turn to heal 1 damage from Isaac Orlovsky. If you take damage from any attack, you just draw a card. Which, honestly, I actually like less than the other one because it doesn't feel as gambly. Yeah, card seems really good. Card seems, like, kind of bonkers. Alright, Spirit Transference. This is a 1-cost event. Spell Ritual Blessed. Commits for Brain. Fast. Play an ally asset. Your location is defeated or discarded. Please, Internet, don't drop again. Discarded by an encounter card effect. Search your deck for an ally asset with a different title and add it to your hand. Oh my god, that's really good. Could you imagine this on Tetsuo? Holy cow. Tetsuo dies. See you later, brother. Thank God I had this Greta Wagner here the whole time. That's a great card. So notably, it's encounter card effects. So it's like, you know, that's not... Is an attack from an enemy an encounter card effect? Because in my gut, I say no, but you never know with this game. Search your deck or discard pile. Or play it paying its cost. Holy hell. I mean, it is a 3 experience upgrade. Did she transfer herself into this deer? From this deer into her? Great card, though. That seems really poggy. That one's kind of sick. Wood Dog, thanks so much for the follow. Welcome to the goddamn table. It's a pleasure to have you. We got the Lewis MK4. Lewis Mark IV. This is a 5 cost, 3 experience. Takes up both hand slots. It's an item, weapon, firearm, commits for 3 fists. So, you know, get your well-prepareds ready. Uses 6 ammo. If it's ready, you may not move except via encounter card effects. It's too big! It's too fucking big! As a lightning bolt, you can exhaust it. If it's ready, spend 1 ammo. Fight, you get +2 fist and deal +1 damage to this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may spend 1 additional ammo to deal this attack's damage to an additional enemy at your location. Honestly, I would love to do Bandolier Survival Knife with this in like a Mark Harrigan deck. Doesn't that seem like a fun time? Or like even like a Zoe Samaras deck. Because the not moving actually is probably going to be more awkward than you think it's going to be while reading the card. So it's just something to be aware of. But if you have a Survival Knife on a Bandolier or just like another gun, hell yeah. Alright. 5 cost, 5 experience, has 3 fist and a wild. Get your well-prepareds super ready. I can't think of any case why you'd want to exhaust it. So you can move. Because you can't move if it's ready, right? Yeah, because that's the reason why you want to exhaust it. Otherwise, you can't. Alright, so if it's, you can exhaust it to, still, but if it's ready, spend an ammo, fight, you get also 10 ammo this time. You get +2 fists and deal +2 damage to this attack. If you succeed by 2 or more, you may spend 1 additional ammo to deal this attack's damage to an additional enemy at your location as well. 2 additional ammo to deal this attack's enemy to an enemy at a connecting location instead. Seems fun, you know? But yeah, it is one of those things where, like, if you are planning on splitting up in a large map, like Beard is saying in Innsmouth or Antarctica, this card is going to probably go down in value. It's a cool card, though. I love the flavor of it. I think it works really well. Pugilist! How do you say this word? Pugilist? It means fighter. I know what it means. I've never actually said it out loud, though. Alright, give me it.
Pugilist.
Pugilist!
Pugilist.
Thank you. Alright, the next card we're looking at is a level 0 card, and it's called
Pugilist.
It costs 3. It's a talent limit 1 per investigator. While your hand slots do not contain any weapon or melee assets, you get +1 damage on fight actions that test fist. That's a fun card, isn't it? That's a fun card. And we have the level 3 version of
Pugilist.
This is a permanent exceptional. While your hand slots do not contain any weapon or melee assets, you get +2 fist on fight actions that test fist, and you deal +1 damage. That's like a deck in itself, right? Like, what's really nice about
Pugilist
is that it allows you to, like, it opens up an entire new archetype that you can play, which I think is, like, really sick. And I would love to see this in an official kind of build, because it's just like a whole new deck that you can play. So right now, I think that
Pugilist
is my favorite card that I've seen so far. Long Seggy Flaps. Hell yeah, brother. Welcome to the goddamn table. It's a pleasure to have you. Alright, we got Browning 1910s. This is a 3 cost 1 experience firearm asset. Takes up the hand slot, commits for a fist and a book. 4 ammo, spend an ammo fight, you get +1 fist for this attack. This attack deals +1 damage. If you succeed by 2 or more, draw a card. Yeah, cool, great card. Fun card. Great. It's cheap. It's fair for what it gives you. I would love to see a card like this in the real game. Feels like that card that Lee Chen should have, being a martial artist and all. Hell yeah, I agree. Alright, and we got Watchman. This is a 1 experience, permanent exceptional asset. It's a talent. So after you resolve the effects of a treachery card drawn by another investigator, place 1 resource token on Watchman as evidence. As lightning bolt, spend 1 evidence on an exhaust Watchman. Draw a card to get +2 to a test you're currently taking. Whew! Card seems cool. I love it. I love the design on this card. I think that these are super awesome. I think my favorites, I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. And I love this one. And I think this one's great. I love this. Honestly, I like a lot of these cards. This is really cool, and it makes me excited to see what's in this brown Seeker bag. There we go. All right, on to the Seeker cards. We got Professor Neil Farrell, The Persistence of Memory. Ah, he's a painter. Commits for a book, soaks for 1 and 1, takes up the ally slot. Ally artist Miskatonic. When you play an insight event from your hand, exhaust him. Shuffle a copy of that card from your discard pile back into your deck. You get +1 book until the end of the round. That is a cool card. That's a really cool ally. I think this one's... I like this one a lot. I think this is an awesome card. It's very powerful, too. Right? It's a very powerful effect. Like, if we just look at insights, right? Like, even just getting, like you know, you're freaking, like, getting, oh my god. There's a lot of just, that's only the first page. That's only the first page. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that makes that a very juicy ally. Upgraded version. 3 cost, 3 experience. Sucks for 1 and 2. He is very fragile, you know, but he is a painter, so he doesn't get out much. While you have 6 or more cards in your hand, you get +1 book. When you play an event card from your hand, exhaust Professor Neil Farrell and choose 1. Search your deck for a copy of that card and play it as well. Holy crap. Shuffle the copy of that card from your discard pile back into your deck. So my only note is that I feel like these are 2 different cards. And I mean, like, they're upgraded versions. But I feel like the idea of Professor Neil Farrell is still there. But it feels like this could be a different card as well. Cool. I actually like this one more, though. Just because it's a bit more compelling. Which is strange to say. But I think I like the level 0 one more as a design. This one just has a lot to it. Okay. Dredge the Past. That found great art for this. Alright, 3 cost, Insight Event. Shuffle an Insight Event from your discard pile back into your deck. If Dredge the Path is in your discard pile, you may choose to add to your hand instead of drawing a card during the upkeep phase. Ha! It's Dredge from Magic the Gathering. Cool card! Cool! That's neat. It's expensive. It does cost 3. So it ain't cheap. So recurring it a lot is going to be trickier, but I think it's a neat design. Upgraded version is level 2. It's fast. Alright, that's nice. Shuffle an event in your discard pile back into your deck. It's just fast. That's the only change? No, it's just an event now. It's not even insight. It's just an event in your discard pile back into your deck. Holy cow! Holy cow, that's a huge change. Yeah. Seems like a good upgrade. It is, I mean, like, it still is expensive. Right? But I love the event synergy. Obviously working with our good friend Colin Montgomery. Alright. Synesthesia. Synesthesia. Alright, let's go to Google. Gotta get this right. Give me the robot. There it is.
Synesthesia.
Synesthesia. Oh, wow, I was completely wrong. Synesthesia.
Synesthesia.
Okay, cool. Thank you, robot. All right. 2 cost skill. It is... I mean, like, this is why we get, like, the Goose nicknames, because it's just easier for us to say Goose. Or why we say book instead of the 3-syllable long intellect. Do you realize how much longer a video would be if we added 2 syllables every time we said book? It would be like 43 seconds longer. I respect your time. All right, we got synesthesia. It's wild. When you would commit a different card to any test, commit this card to that test as well. Treat each committable symbol on that card as if it was a wild. If you succeed, shuffle that card back into your deck. Oh, that's a strong card. That's a very powerful effect. Yep, that's good. That's a good card. That's a good card. All right. Saturnine Foresight. This is a 2-cost augury spell. Takes up the spell slot. Uses 3 charges. At the beginning of the Mythos phase, spend 1 charge. Discard cards to the top of your deck until a card with at least 1 wild symbol is revealed. Commit that card to each test that takes place during this Mythos phase. If it is a weakness, is discarded during this process. Shuffle it back into your deck. Interesting. It's very interesting. It's like a Written in the Stars. But it's to each test, so it helps everybody. It helps everybody. That's a really good effect. Yeah, that's very powerful. That's powerful. That's a powerful card. Yeah, that's good. That's a good effect. All right, the level 4 version is still 2 cost. Commits for Wild. At the beginning of the Mythos phase, spend 1 charge, reveal cards to the top of the deck until a card with at least 1 wild symbol is revealed. Commit that card to each test that takes place during the Mythos phase. At the end of the Mythos phase, add that card to your hand and shuffle each other revealed card back into your deck. Yeah. Honestly, seems like a fun set of cards to play with. I like it. It's like, I'm pretty sure I've seen this book art before, but no, it just looks like every other fucking book art that exists in this game. Alright, we got Pour Over. This is a 1-cost event. It's an insight. When you play Pour Over, search the top 6 cards of your deck for an event card and play it as if it was in your hand, paying its cost. I mean, that seems pretty good. It's like a weird form of, like, tutoring, right? Neat card. Alright. 2 cost, 3 experience. When you play Pour Over, search the top 9 cards of your deck for an event card and play as if it was in your hand. Then you may either shuffle Pour Over back into your deck or choose a different event in your discard pile to shuffle back into your deck. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like, you know. It's a weird card because you need like all of your, you have like a baseline, like you're probably not using this card to search out specific events. You're using this card to like just play whatever event you draw that you think is going to be great in the moment. But I imagine there's something busted you could do with the card that I don't see because I don't like to play busted crap too often or build busted crap too often. Alright, we got Magnum Opus. It's a 3 experience, skill, fortune, and developed. You may commit this card to any test. Do not reveal chaos tokens for this test. Okay. This test automatically succeeds and considered to have drawn the Elder Sign. Oh. After this test resolves, put Magnum Opus in the victory display. While Magnum Opus is in the victory display, its owner cannot investigate, fight, evade, or activate abilities on player cards. So, yeah, the flavor of Magnum Opus, if you don't know, it's like, you know, the perfect work of art. You're the best thing you'll ever make or ever do. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it stops you from playing the game. This is like, this and, Grizzly, or Ghastly Revelation, or whatever it is. They're like the same card, in a way. Interesting design. Don't know if I'd ever play it. Alright, the Triangular Manuscript. The Legacy of Saint Germain. 3 cost, 1 experience, takes up the hand slot, item, tome, relic, occult. If there's a card attached to the Triangular Manuscript, you get +1 book while investigating. Flashlight, baby! After you succeed at a test on an event by 3 or more, exhaust Triangular Manuscript, attach that card to the Triangular Manuscript. Limit 1 attached card. This is a bad day to have a phlegmy throat. After you discover the last clue from location, exhaust the Triangular Manuscript, add the card attached to the Triangular Manuscript to your hand. Okay, yeah, that seems fine. It's like a crystallizer of dreams. You just gotta like jump through a few more hoops, right? Are there good days for a phlegmy throat? Yeah, when I'm sitting on the couch and playing video games all day. Those are good days to have a phlegmy throat. Yeah. I mean, like, being able to play your cards twice is always a powerful effect, and you should never underestimate that, right? You should never underestimate that. All right, the Triangular Manuscript level 4. If there's a card attached to it, you get +1 book. If there are 3 cards, you also get +1 brain. Well prepared, eat your fucking heart out. If you see a test on an event card by 2 or more, exhaust it, attach that card to it. Limit 3. After you discover the last clue, exhaust, add a card attached to your hand. So it's just like more. Just more, and also does brain. Alright, Undivided Attention. This is a 2-cost, fast insight event. Attach Undivided Attention to your location until the end of the round. Investigators at this location get +2 when investigating and -2 to tests of any kind. At the end of the round, discard it. Yeah, seems fine. Seems a little bit expensive, but the effect is very nice. It's like basically like how much are you going to pay for 3 perceptions? Potentially more. Can we get these birds out of here? The guy from Higher Education is starting a rebellion. The level 2 version, sorry, the level 1 version still costs 2. It now commits for an extra wild. Fast, attach your location, investigate this location, get +2 when investigating. As a lightning bolt, you can shuffle it back into your deck. That seems a lot better, doesn't it? It doesn't go away either. Wow, yeah, that's a great card. Oh no, research cards? I hate research cards. There's just so much on them. There's so much on them, and I never care by the time I get to the last one. Okay, Time-Worn Chronicle, Tales Untold. This is a 3-cost item tome relic. Takes up a hand slot. Spend a tail as a lightning bolt and exhaust it. Draw the top card of the encounter deck and resolve its effects. Afterward, game will include your location. Then, if there are no tails on Time-Worn Chronicle, discard and recording your campaign log that you've read the tale. So there's a lot there that's good. So you definitely do this after the hunters, like after the end of the enemy phase, right? Because they're a lightning bolt window before. Just gonna. Yeah, so you do it at the either like when the upkeep phase begins, or at like the player enemy window. That's probably the best time to do it. The player window at the end of the enemy phase, because then you just like, if you draw an enemy, it doesn't attack you, potentially, or you do it at like the end of your turn before the other guy goes, your goon. Interesting. All right, but let's see the upgrades. They all need to be. You've read the tale. They all cost 3. They all take up a hand slot. They're all 2 experience. Spend X resources, the lightning bolt, and exhaust Time-Worn Chronicle. Discover your location. X is half the shroud value of your location. Okay. That seems good. That seems good. Spending money for clues. Hey, this is Delilah O'Rourke. So we have the Ballad of Cantor Gwalyd. Or Jeff, knowing how sometimes those words work. This is the Lesson of Yeast. If knowing a treachery card is in play, your location, exhaust it as an action. Discard that treachery and discover one clue your location. That seems really good as well. You have 2 additional arcane slots as a reaction. Whenever you play an asset that takes up an arcane slot, exhaust it, discover one clue your location. And then we got Fight. You may use Book instead of Fist. This attack gets +1, and you deal plus 1 skill value, and you deal +1 damage with this attack. If this attack defeats an enemy, you may exhaust it and discover clear location. Don't know if I like that one. Just because it neutralizes its. Seekers shouldn't fight. It shouldn't be in their card pool to fight consistently like this. They would need to have to, like, you know, discard a card, right? Yeah, I don't know about that one. I like the other ones. I think the other ones are really fun and kind of like, I mean, this is just Lola. I mean, like you can actually see it. Like it takes a slice of every other. It takes a slice of every other color pie, right? Rogues, mystics, seekers. But I don't think fighting should be this one. I think like it's just like for me personally, it muddies up the color pie too much. All right, we got our permanent contemporary asceticism. 5 experience. Your deck may not include non-signature or non-weakness item or ally cards. Okay. You get +1 book, +1 brain, and +1 sanity. When you play an event card, exhaust contemporary asceticism. That card either gains fast or costs 2 less resources. Yeah, this seems like it would be a fun build around. Definitely. Cool. Neat. Alright, let us go to the rogue cards. Duelist. This is a 2-cost, 1 experience asset. Talent. Limit 1 per investigator. Where there's only 1 enemy engaged with you, you may use foot instead of fist when taking fight actions on melee assets. Hell yeah, brother. Let's go. Seems fun. I like the design on it. Very rogue. Very rogue. Very rogue. Level 4 version. Well, there's only 1 enemy engaged with you. It's limit 1 per investigator still. Still costs 2. Well, there's only 1 enemy engaged with you. You may use foot in place of fist when taking fight actions on melee assets. When you choose to do so, you get +2 foot and ignore the retaliate keyword. Cool. Yeah, fun card. Fun card. I like it. I like the design on that one quite a bit. Chin Music. 0 cost event. It's a tactic and a trick. Fight. This attack ignores the aloof keyword. Fuck you, you dumb bird. If you succeed, gain 1 resource for each point you succeeded by. Interesting, because it has that rogue problem where a lot of players would never want to do this. However, Mark Harrigan would love the hell out of this, you know? Wish rogues had more melee assets, though. What are you talking about? They have one of the best melee assets in the game. In the form of the Switchblade 2. Yeah, no, cool card. I like the design. Level 2 version. Fight ignores the aloof and tally keywords. If you succeed, gain 1 resource for each point you succeed by. If you succeed by 2 or more, this attack does +1 damage. Yeah, just more of a good thing. Beginner's Luck. 1 experience skill. It's a Gambit and a Fortune. You may commit this card to any test. For each card remaining in the act deck, this card gains 1 wild to a maximum of 4. Huh. Very clever. I think this is a very clever, very fun design that is... You're gonna... It's... it's gonna suck so bad later on. It's gonna, like... This card is just like, yeah, I think this one also probably could be 0 XP. But I mean, like, if you compare it to Savant, it's kind of like a Savant. If it had a wild and then, like, to a maximum of 3, then I could see it being 1 experience. I don't know. It just seems like the tests you take at the start of a scenario are less valuable than the tests you take at the end. Potentially. Most often. Entourage, like the show. 2 cost, 2 experience. It's a connection. You get 2 additional ally slots, which can only be held to non-unique allies. Let's go! You have to pay. You have to play for those. The other one exceptional? Oh, sorry, permanent? Nah. At the beginning of each round, you must pay 1 resource for each card in an ally slot granted by Entourage if you cannot discard it. I got bad news for you. They aren't your friends. If you're paying them, they are not your friends. You know... Interesting. I don't know if it's having to... Let's see what the upgraded version is before we talk more. 2 cost, 4 experience. At the end of the round, you may discard Entourage or discard your hand. Otherwise, you must pay 1 resource or take 1 damage for each card in a slot granted by Entourage. So now they're beating you up? Now these fuckers are beating you up? So the nice thing about this one is the upgraded version is that you can just have them punch themselves, right? You can just have them punch themselves. And like the one that you want to be good, you can just pay off, right? But it still just seems very hard because you have to pay like... You have to pay for the ally to put them into play, then you have to pay for them on the next turn. I don't know, I just feel like it's missing a little bit of juice. Like, this could reasonably cost 0. I don't know, it requires a lot of money to basically just get, like, a not great charisma. For 1 experience less, and you have to find it. I don't know, I feel like this one's, there's something weird about it. Long Farewell. 3 cost, fast, trick, fortune. Play when you would take a resign action. I'm very intrigued. You may distribute your remaining resources between all remaining investigators. You may begin the next area with an additional card in your opening hand. Great card. I love the design. The damn internet dropped again. But yeah, I love the design on this card. I like... Honestly, it could lose the max 5 resources per remaining investigators, and I still think the card is incredibly safe. Because, like, if you're resigning, like, the scenario's close to ending, who cares, right? I think it's just, like, it could be more fun. And you also have to pay 3 at the top. I don't think this card is good, but I think the card is fun, and the design space is neat. Okay. Grand Entrance. Fast. 0 cost trick. The damn internet just keeps dropping. Are you kidding me? It makes this so frustrating. Anyways, I'm just going to keep reading for the YouTube video. Fast. Play when you would move to an unrevealed location before that location is revealed. Reveal that location and test foot X. X is the shroud value of that location you just revealed. If you succeed, you gain X resources and you may exhaust a non-elite enemy at this location. Huh. Location, but before that location is revealed. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a fun card. I think it's kind of neat. Definitely has its uses. I like it with Rita, obviously. Like, it's a trick, right? It's a trick, so it's really nice with Rita. I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, fun card. Fun card. Okay. So yeah, this Grand Entrance card is, I think it's cool. It's really nice with Rita. Just like you basically, when you walk into a location with an enemy, you can, but I mean, like, I think the problem is that it's like, it's an economy card. Like, that's kind of like the purpose. The enemy is just kind of like gravy on top that you're very unlikely to actually hit. All right, we got Hard Bargain. 1 experience, Gambit Illicit. When you commit this card to a test, you may spend up to 3 resources. If this test succeeds, for each resource spent, you may add 1 ammo, evidence, or supply to an asset under your control. So it's kind of like a watch this. But for, like, reloading your guns, that seems really good. I like it. I think the card's really cool. Adding evidence to damning. Damning testimony is great. Yeah, that does seem kind of sick, doesn't it? All right. Madame Bilkis. Purveyor of Pleasures. 4 cost. Ally. Entrepreneur Syndicate. You get +1 brain. After you succeeded a test by 3 or more, exhaust Madame Bilkis and choose 1. Spend a resource, choose a card committed to this test, and shovel it back into your deck. Spend a resource, you get +2 to your next test. Spend 3 resources. You may immediately take an action as if it was your turn. This action does not count towards the number of actions you can take each turn, limit once per round. Build your own skids. I noticed the soak values are very low in these player cards, because that's a 1/1, which is not a lot of soak for a 4 cost 2 experience ally. The 5, holy cow, level 5. 4 cost, soaks for 2 and 2. You get +1 brain and +1 foot. Safina Rousseau, eat your heart out. As you see the skill test by 2 or more, exhaust her and choose one. Spend a resource, choose a card committed to that test, shuffle back into your deck and draw a card. Spend a resource, you get +3 to your next test. Draw a card. I should say +3 skill value, right? Or does the +3 just work? Spend 2 resources, you may now you're just basically Schizo Tool. And you also get a draw card. You get a draw card on each of them. That is a powerful ally. Like, there is a lot that's really powerful there. Notably, works awful with this because you have to pay resources to get her in there, to get her ability going. Alright, Shakedown. This is a 0-cost event. Trick, elicit, fast. Play when an enemy or location is defeated. You gain X resources. X is equal to that enemy's evade value. Fun. It's fine. Just more economy, right? More economy is never a bad thing. Lovin' and Rita as well. You know, a nice little thing there. Anytime there's a trick. Poor Preston Fairmont, of course, cannot shake anyone down. He's too goody two-shoes. And then we're going to go to Stack the Deck. This is an X cost, 3 experience. Trick, Gambit, Fortune. Fast. Play when you would fail a skill test you were taking. X is the amount that you failed by. This test succeeds by 0 instead. Oh, okay. It's kind of like a sure gamble, but without gambling. Certainly seems good, right? Like, if this is even just like a bad lucky, it's still nice to have, right? It's still just nice to have. Okay, Model 10 Remington. 4 cost, 0 level, 0 experience, 2-handed item, weapon, firearm, illicit. Uses 2 ammo. Spend 1 ammo and fight. You get +2 fist for this attack. And deal +1 damage. I'm going to assume that's supposed to be +2 fist. As an action, if there's 1 or less ammo on Model 10 Remington, spend 1 resource, put 10 ammo on Model 10 Remington. Very interesting, huh? Just a gun that doesn't run out of ammo. It seems pretty good, right? Not great for two-handed? I mean, you get +2 fist and deals +1 damage. In Rogue. I suppose if you have to shoot multiple times, right? You have to shoot multiple times. I don't know, I feel like Skids would love the hell out of this gun. Oh, so would like... so will any action rogue. I don't know. Has the ornate bow problem, I think, where if you have to shoot a dude with more than 3 health, you got problems. I mean, but I think that's more of a player problem than it is an ornate bow problem. Because, like, if you just, like... You don't put ornate bow in anybody's deck, right? You do it into, like... You have to build around the bow, right? And I mean, like, this one only becomes a problem if you have to fight... If you have to kill a 5 health enemy, right? I don't know, a gun that never runs out of ammo seems a little bit strong to me personally. All right, 4 cost, 4 experience. Spend 1 ammo, fight, you get +4 for this attack, deal +2 damage. As a lightning bolt, if there is 1 or less ammo, this card's incredible. This is a very powerful weapon. Holy cow. This weapon might be too good. That's a very strong weapon. Holy cow. That is very powerful. Yeah, that's very powerful. It's a very powerful gun. That gun's very strong. All right, the tier of Asruly Freda. Pendant of the Black Madonna. 2 cost, 2 experience, takes up the accessory slot. It's exceptional and takes up the accessory slot, so it better be good. At the beginning of your turn, replenish 1 charge. Spend 1 charge and exhaust it. Choose 1. Gain 2 resources, draw 2 cards, deal 2 damage to an enemy or location. Notably, this will provoke attacks of opportunity. I mean, like, the card's good. The effect is nice, right? Just competing with the Lucky Cigarette case is very tough. Astute Dunsparce, what do you think of this with Well Prepared? What do you think of that? Uses 2 charges at the beginning of your turn, replenish 1 charge, spend 1 charge in the tier of Asruly Freda, gain 3 resources, draw 3 cards, deal 3 damage to an enemy at your location. Foaming at the mouth, holy cannoli with ravioli. Honestly though, like, the effect is good. But it doesn't feel like a bit more, I mean, the dealing 3 damage to an enemy is very good. Like, that part's the thing that's, like, that's what you're, like, hoping to use. Like, that's what you're hoping to knock things out of the park with that effect. The other ones aren't bad, but it feels a bit win more at that point. But the damage is, like, actually solves problems. 10 experience, though. Cool card, though. Wiretap. This is a 3-cost item tool illicit. Uses 4 supplies. Sorry, send a supply and X resources. Discover a clue to connecting location. If an enemy's at the location, X is half that location's shroud. Otherwise, X is that location's shroud. Yeah. I like it. I like the design on this. I think it's a fun card. And I like the flavor that if there's an enemy there, it's cheaper. Upgraded version is just level 1. Spend 1 supply and X resources to discover a clue to connect location. X is that location's shroud. So it just makes the resource cost is always half for this. If a non-elite enemy's at that location, you may automatically exhaust it. Also, just, yeah, it's a great card. Not in every deck, mind you, but like in the decks that like want to be big money, I think the card is a nice effect. Rogue cards are pretty neat. I think the biggest home run, though, is still the Guardian cards. I think the Guardian cards were really nice. Let's check out the Mystics. Apotropaic Ward. It takes up both spell slots. Let's go. 3 cost, Ritual. As a reaction, after you draw a Treachery from the encounter deck, play Exhaust Apotropic Ward and put 1 Doom on to cancel that Treachery. The flavor and mechanic on this card is just like absolute... It's beautiful. Because like it's it is, the idea is that, you know, it's like a ward spell. It's a ward of protection, if you will. But you're gonna have to get rid of it eventually. So it's like I think it might be a bit too strong, mind you. But I think the flavor of it is really nice. The level 3 version. You just, it still has the same top text. But if there's 3, you can return it to your hand. Have a good shift. Honestly, I think this could probably cost like 1 experience and be good. Because the effect is very strong. This is like also seems a bit too strong, this upgraded version. It seems very powerful. I don't know. It just seemed very strong. Canceling treacheries like repeatedly is a very powerful effect. Expel the Spirit. This is a 2-cost event. It's a spell and a spirit, which is good because you have to expel the spirit. Search the top 9 cards in your encounter deck for a non-elite treachery enemy. You may place 1 Doom on a card you control to discard it or place it on the bottom of the encounter deck. I do like the synergy with this card, obviously. I think that's really fun. I play that on Mandy. Yeah. That actually does seem kind of sick, doesn't it? Level 3 version. Search the top 9 cards in the encounter deck for a non-elite enemy or treachery and choose one. Discard that card and place it on the bottom of the encounter deck. Put one doom on an asset under your control. Notably, it's asset and not card. Put 2 doom on an asset under your control, then attach that treachery or enemy. So you also can do treacheries. No, it was treacheries for the other one too. I just misread. Or I didn't process the information. Then attach that treachery or enemy to expel the spirit and place in victor's play. Expel the spirit gains victory 0. I mean, obviously a lot of good synergy here. Removing stuff from the encounter deck is a very powerful effect. Do I think the price to what you put in once you take out is fair? Probably. It is a very tough mechanic to balance well, because removing stuff is very powerful. And the 2 doom is really not a problem. It's very easy to play around, right? You put the doom straight onto Sin Eater. Sin Eater also does change things, doesn't it? Yeah, no. I think these effects are probably... I don't know. Even without Sin Eater, I don't know. It seems good. Is it too good? Maybe. Chthonic Channel. This is a 3 experience, innate ritual. Silas can't play it. Rest in peace. Commits for a wild. When you commit this card to a test, spend up to 2 doom on an asset under your control. For each doom spent this way, this card gains wild. I mean, that's a really cool card, isn't it? It's very powerful, but I think it's like fair for what it is. I actually like the design on this card a lot. I think that's really cool. I love it. I love the design there. I love that. That's really cool. I love that. Celestial Bowline. This is an item, relic, weapon, melee. Ooh, a mystic weapon. I'm always... Color, consider me intrigued. It is 1 experience, 3 cost. Exhausted to fight. You may use brain instead of fist for this attack. You get +1 skill value and deal +1 damage for this attack. If this attack is successful, you may shuffle a spell card from your discard pile back into your deck. If this attack does not defeat an enemy, place 1 doom on that enemy. This doom may cause the agenda to advance. So... this is just better than the sickle, right? In, like, the best way. It's a great card. Returning spell cards, like, say, for example, Spectral Razor, some knife hands to your deck is a very nice effect that you should not, like, look down on. It's very good. And... yeah, that's a very good card. And there's an upgraded version, even more. Level 4, fight. You may add your brain to your fist for this attack. Deal +1 damage. Oh my god. That's very powerful, isn't it? That's very powerful. Yeah, it doesn't exhaust. Yeah, the level 1's fair there. This probably could cost 5 experience, I think. Like, you have to, like, organize your turns fine, but this is basically just, like, I never need to play a dumb spell asset again. Very powerful card. Light of Tabor. Oh, I love Tabor. 3 cost event, spell blessed. For each of your arcane slots that is filled, you may discover a clue at your location. Poggy. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Obviously a very strong card, but it does cost 3, which is a lot in the Mystic class. And you also have to, like, load your arcane slots. I think it's fun. I think it's a fine card. Upgraded version is level 2. For each of your arcane slots that is filled, you may discover a clue at your location or at a collecting location. Yeah, I think that's a nice clean upgrade. Follows the Liquid Eye found. I think it's great. Great cards. I think they're great. Strange Attractor. I hate moths. I hate moths. I hate them. They remind me of death. Anyway, 2 experience, a skill. It's Gambit and a Paradox. Commits for a wild. If this test fails, you may place one doom on an asset on your control. If you choose to do so, cancel all effects of the failed test. Hey! I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a card like this. I think the design is really nice and clean. It's basically like a lucky, right? It's like basically a lucky that is just like, it doesn't allow you to pass, but it just like ignores the fail. I think it's a good design as well. I think those two sets of cards have been really good. Gambit for Skids. Parallel Skids, let's go. Use it on the test. What? No, because you have to spend it to do the test. So I thought the thing was like, you don't lose the resources. I was like, the test for his ability. Just put Doom on stuff just for fun. Hey, a little kitty, a little gatto, a little cute, a little cat. Luca Gasparotto, the fledgling warlock, 4-cost ally, so it's for 2 and 1. He's an ally and a witch. When Doom will be placed on a card under your control, deal 1 damage to Luca Gasparotto and exhaust him, cancel that Doom. When Doom will be removed from a card under your control, heal 1 damage from Luca Gasparotto. That probably should say when Doom is removed from a card under your control. Right? I like it though. I like the card. I think it's fun, and I like the kitty cat. I like the little kitty cat. He's so cute, isn't he? I like little kitty cat. Level 2 version, costs 3. Soaks for 3 and 1. When Doom will be placed, deal 1 damage to Luca Gasparotto. Cancel that Doom. When Doom is removed from a card under your control... Oh, is it maybe... Oh, no, it says instead. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. That's on me. That's on me. This one's instead. When Doom. Yeah, you don't upgrade this guy immediately. No, I'm an idiot. That's on me. That's on me. I don't even think I read the instead out loud. When Doom is removed from a card under your control, heal 1 damage. I like it. I like the design. The level 0 version kind of... I don't think you're ever going to use the healing damage. He's just going to die. But then you get to this one, and it's actually juicy. I love it. I love the design. Great design. Wake the Dead. Oh, shit. This guy's... We should not be doing this. Have you guys seen Coffin Flop from I Think You Should Leave? We can show them naked because they don't got souls. 3-cost event. It's a wild spell ritual. Attach Wake the Dead to a non-elite enemy in the encounter discard pile and put it in your play area with 1 Doom on it. While it's in your play area, treat this enemy as an ally asset with the Geist trait with health equal to its enemy's health value. If attached card will be defeated or Doom will be removed from it, that enemy makes an immediate attack against you and discarded. This is probably one of the coolest designs I've seen in this game. That's really neat, isn't it? I don't know if I'd ever play it, but the card's really cool. Alright, what's the level 2 version? Attach it to a non-elite enemy in the encounter discard pile and put it in your player with 1 Doom on it. While it is in your player, treat this enemy as an ally. If it is defeated, that enemy makes an attack against you and is discarded. You may add 1 Doom to it to heal it to full health and cancel this effect. That's really neat. I love it. I love the design. Those are cool cards. I also love the art. Just, yeah. New season, I Think You Should Leave at the end of May. I am very excited. It comes out right near my birthday, so that's going to be fun. Malediction. So the 3-cost spell takes up the arcane slot, uses 3 charges. As a reaction, when any amount of Doom is placed on a card under your control, exhaust Malediction and spend 1 charge. Deal 1 damage to an enemy or location or discover a clue your location. I love it. I love it. Like, this is something that I think that the Doom archetype, especially in Amina, would be missing. This card, if this was official, would be a really nice piece to the Amina puzzle, don't you think? That'd be a great card for her. I love the design. I think a lot of these Mystics cards have been really good. I think the only one that worries me is this one. I think it's just a bit too good. These ones are also a bit too good. But everything else I think has been really nice. I think they're really nice. And I'm also, when I'm saying too good, I mean like with my just initial read of it with absolutely no play testing. Oh, don't break your streak. Don't worry, Xbox. I won't. The level 3 version, when any amount of Doom is placed on a card under your control, exhaust it or spend a charge. Exhaust or spend 1 charge. Deal 1 damage to enemy location. Discover a clue to your location or add 1 charge to malediction. Interesting. I mean, I like it. It's a good battery, right? This also opens up to like a Doom Akachi. Man, the best thing about custom player cards is that they exist. The worst thing about custom player cards is that they don't exist officially, you know, because I would love to like play with these and build with these, but I mean, I guess I should just print them. I should just print them, shouldn't I? All right. Ouija board, let's go! 3 cost, takes up the hand slot, even though she's using 2. But I mean, you can hold a Ouija board under 1 arm. Action, investigate. You may investigate as if you're connected. At a connected reveal location, you may use brain instead of book for this investigation. You may treat the modifier of each skull or cultist drawn during this test as a 0. Each time you choose to do so, put 1 doom on the Ouija board. Jim Culver. Choose to do it on this, put doom on it. I like it. I think the flavor is really nice too. Level 2 version costs 2, 1 less. Investigate. You may investigate as if you're at a connected reveal location, and you may use brain instead of book. You get +2 for this investigation. +2 skill value. You may treat the modifier of each non-auto-fail symbol drawn during this test as if it is a 0. Each time you choose to do so, put 1 doom on the Ouija board. Powerful. Powerful card. Doesn't get you additional clues, though, right? So I think it's completely fair. Right? Curse synergy. Treating curse as 0. Let's go. Doot, doot. I mean, also, like, love it with... I think there's a lot of cool... I think there's a lot of cool stuff in this Mystic package. Wait a minute. I've seen her somewhere. The Scripture of the Witches. The Gospel of Aradia. This is an item tome relic. Takes up the hand slot. Costs 5! 2 experience. 3 secrets. After you cancel or discard a non-weakness curse or X creature from play, spend 1 secret and exhaust the Gospel of Aradia. Attach that card to the Gospel of Aradia. For each card attached to the Gospel of Aradia, you get +1 to test made on spell cards. Okay. If the encounter deck runs out of cards or the encounter discard pile is shuffled back into the deck, remove 1 card attached to the Gospel of Aradia and shuffle it back into the encounter deck. Yeah, just another relic that Ursula can't use. Amen. Poor Ursula. Yeah. Let's see the upgraded version. There's a lot of text on these cards. I can't honestly grok them that well. 4 cost, 4 experience, uses 3 secrets. As you cancel or discard a non-weakness treachery from play, spend a secret and exhaust the Gospel of Aradia. Attach that card to the Gospel of Aradia. For each card you get +2. Okay. You can remove a card or put a doom. I mean... It seems fun. It's a little bit complex for my small brain right now. There's a lot of text on the card. It seems good. But is it a bit win more? Potentially. But I think the card's neat. Alright, Survivor class. Nice and simple. We love Survivors here. And then we just have 4... multi-class cards to look at. Okay. Allure. I was like, I've seen this before, but it's because I think this is one of the preview cards. 2 cost, 1 experience, limit 1 per investigator. When you fail a test, exhaust it, gain a resource. When you pass a test, exhaust it, draw a card. Obviously, works really well with Sebastian. The other version is 3 experience, get a brain and a foot. When you fail a test, gain a resource, limit 1 per round. When you pass a test, draw a card, limit 1 per round. Obviously, this card is very nice. I like it. I like it. I want to play with it in real life. Blessing of Guida Nimbo. Guida Nebo. 1 cost. I would like the pufferfish, please. I'll take that one, sir. It's a 1 cost event. It's spell and it's blessed. Fast. Play when an ally asset at your location will be defeated. Shuffle the card back into its bearer's deck or add X blessed tokens to the chaos bag. X amount of damage and horror on that ally before it was defeated. Whoa! This card's good! This card's fun! It seems like a great enabler for Blessed and Cursed, right? Well, for Survivor Bless, rather. Oh, I said Bless or Curse. I know, it's because I've read like 100 cards. And my brain is mush. Also seems really fun in Tommy Muldoon, huh? A Bless Tommy, let's go. Level 3 version. Commits for a wild in addition to the 2 brains. Fast play when an ally at your location will be defeated. Shuffle the card into its bearer's deck and add X Bless tokens. It just does both. Tommy doesn't need this one. Tommy likes this one, though. I love it. I love the design. I love the great card. Awesome. Super fun. Okay. I am very specific about Survivor skills. So I'm very excited about these 2 cards. Captured Imagination. It's a 3 experience skill that commits for a double wild. It's innate and it's a talent. If this test is successful, you may immediately play the topmost event card in your discard pile, paying its cost. If this test fails, you may shuffle the topmost event card in your discard pile back into your deck. Interesting. I think the design is really cool. I think there's a lot of fun to build around with it. Honestly, I wish it commit for less symbols, though. I wish it just commit for a wild. But I think the card is really neat. And I like the feel of it. I think that there's a lot of potential stuff. A lot of Survivor events are probably reactionary. But, I mean, I love this in Patrice, right? This could be really fun in Patrice. Just like you can just get more value out of your events. I think the card's cool, though. I think it's fun. I think I like it. We're going to just jump down to this one. Hasty Aid. It's practiced. If the test is successful, heal 1 damage from your investigator and ally asset under your control. Hell yeah, nothing wrong with this card. I think it's a great skill. Wouldn't be surprised if we see this in the game one day. Alright, we got Ambition. This is a 2-cost asset. It's a talent, commits for a wild. After you fail a test, exhaust Ambition. The next time you would attempt to test this round, you get +1 skill value. Well, actually, you could argue it's a... I don't think it's necessarily a worse Inspiring Presence because it's also practiced, which means if you're in the right builds, you can play it twice, right? So it's like a different... Hey, I have this art. I've used this art before. Don't think I don't know Pyramid Man. I know this guy. Him and I were good friends. Can't slip anything past me. All right. This card's great in Stella. It's a great card. Had to fail a test. Exhaust Ambition the next time you... Yeah. Upgraded version. The next time you attempt that test, you either get +2 skill value or can spend X resources to automatically succeed. X is the difficulty level of that test. 3 experience. Honestly, I mean, like, I understand it's working with this guy, right? But I don't even know if it needs that text. I think just, like, turning this into, like, a 2 experience +2 skill value, I think is a totally playable card in a lot of Survivor decks. Cool card, though. Terrifying Realization. It's fast, 1-cost insight event. Until the end of the round, each time you take any amount of horror, you may discover a clue at your location. Whoa! That's good. It's not great, but it's good. Seems really fun with Meat Cleaver, right? Like, you just, you're going to be fighting someone 3 times with Meat Cleaver. Just play this before that happens. That seems like a really fun deck, huh? Also, obviously, seems really good with Agnes. I think this is a great card. I think this is a really cool card. Is it powerful? Yeah. I think it can be very powerful. But I like it. I like it. Terrifying Realization. 2 experience. Fast. Nothing in the round. Whenever you take any amount of horror, discover X clues your location where X is the amount of horror you have taken. So it's just that you can, if you take 2 horror, you get 2 clues? Yeah. We saw you already. You're good. Alright, Pyramid Man. Time Roller, how's it going? Asruly J. Wouj Baton. Sorry. I don't know how to pronounce that. But I tried. And I apologize if I butchered it. So this is the 3-cost asset. It has 3 charges, takes up the hand and the arcane slot. Fight. You get +1 skill value to this attack, and you may use brain or foot instead of fists. You deal +1 damage to this attack. It's just a cost. To use this ability, you must spend 1 charge or discard an asset in your play area. So basically, this is just like a gun. Treat this as a gun, right? You get 4 shots out of it. Like, that's how we should look at it, right? It's a gun that lets you use your brain or your foot. You get +1, deal +1 damage. You get 4 shots. Takes up 2 2 slots. Hand and Arcane. Arcane isn't... I think this is a good card. It's basically just a gun. I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, there's a lot of options for what you want to do. I would make this a must-use, either brain or foot instead of also fist, just to, like, rein it in a little bit. Upgraded version, 4 experience. This is going to be good. You get +2 to this attack, and you may use the same skills. You deal +2 damage. This is, I think, I would say, too good. The +2, 3 damage is a lot. Or take 1 direct horror. Yeah, no, there's a lot on this card. So you can use it, you can either spend a charge, discard an asset, or take 1 direct horror. Hello. I mean, I think this card is still fair if it just dealt +1 damage. I think the card would still be playable. Like, maybe at level 3. Nice alternative to Chainsaw, at least. That is true. But, like... I don't know. It seems good. It just seems very powerful. But maybe, like, yeah, maybe if we just compare it to Chainsaw, it's less powerful than it seems. That's a great point. Let's look at Chainsaw. I want to compare them. 3 shots. Okay, so it's actually about on par with the same rate for a survivor weapon. Only takes up 1 hand slot, though. Costs 1 less. I think this one is still maybe a bit too highly tuned. I don't play with it, though. It really intrigues me. It really intrigues me, and I do want to play with it, though. I think it's a cool card. Alright, Downhearted Blues. Just me and the blues. Do. Song Faded. 2-cost event. Play only during your turn. You have to play this in Jim Culver's deck as a 1-of, at least. Immediately end your turn during the next enemy phase. Non-elite enemies cannot resolve their hunter or patrol keywords. I mean, that is a good effect, right? That is a good card. It's certainly not great. Like, it's certainly not going to, like, change the game of Arkham Horror. It's not going to bust anything wide open. But I do think the effect is really cool, and I like the idea of it. Let's see the upgraded version. Immediately end your turn. During the next enemy phase, non-elite enemies cannot resolve their hunter or patrol keywords. If an elite enemy would engage or attack you during this phase, you may immediately cancel that action and move to a connecting location with that enemy. So I might as well cancel that attack. Cool card. I like it. I like him. I like him a lot. Nora Barber, the Angel of St. Mary's. She's a 2-cost ally asset. Soaks for 1 and 3. Deal a horror to Nora Barber. Heal 1 damage or horror from an investigator your location. Uh-oh. After you defeat an enemy, discard Nora Barber. Heal 2 damage or horror from an investigator location. I love it. She's great. I think she's great. I think that's a cool ally. And it's, like, great for Calvinists, too, as well, you know? I think it's a great card. Heal 2 horror or damage. Heal 1 damage, 1 horror twice. Heal another 2. Very good. The upgraded version. Deal 1 horror to her, heal 1 damage or horror from an investigator location, and shuffle a card from your discard pile back into your deck. Ooh. Activate an enemy. Discard her. Shove her back into your deck. Because she's an angel. It's like, oh, that just means she helps people. No. She might be an angel. And she soaks for 2 and 3? Holy cow. Now, that's a great card. Yeah, that's another really good card. And shuffling cards back from your discard pile into your deck is a very strong effect. Right into Carolyn and Vincent? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright, Virtuoso. This is a 3-cost asset. It's a talent, limit 1 per investigator. When a player card effect would require you to discard a card from your hand or play area, exhaust Virtuoso, shuffle a different card in your discard pile back into your deck. Oh, and a player card effect. Oh my god, that's what I was missing. I was like, what am I missing here? This card's bonkers. But no, a player card effect. Yes, no, it's less good than I thought. But still a very, very fun card. Also, obviously, has some great synergy here with the baton, right? Because discard an asset from your play area. Shuffle a card, different card for discard pile back into your deck. Cool card. I thought it was just whenever you would discard a card from your hand or play area. I was like, is this card... Is this... But it's not an instead, right? It's not an instead, so you still have to do it. I think it could trigger on the upkeep. I don't see why it wouldn't. No, because no, hand size is not a player card effect. Or does... So she has to discard a card as part of her ability, right? She has to discard a card because of her. No, it's not. You're not discarding a card because of a player card effect. You're still discarding your card to... No, you do. No, you do. You discard all uniqueness. No, I think you do. I think you actually are able to do that from there. But it's not an instead, so I think it still happens. It's not an instead. 1 second, my mom's just calling me. But yeah, because I don't think these say instead, you still discard the card. You just get to, like, bring a card back into your deck. The other one's a permanent, so that's nice. Alright. Watchful Psychopomp. Do not like the Blood Owl. I am not a fan of the Blood Owl. Okay. 2 cost, 1 experience, ally. Soaks for 1 and 1. After an investigate location fails a test as a reaction, search the Chaos Bag for a non-auto-fail token of your choice and seal it on Watchful Psychopomp. Maximum 1 total token sealed. At the round, return the token sealed on Watchful Psychopomp to the Chaos Bag. Okay, that seems fine. I like it. I like the card. I like it. Well, the upgraded version is level 3. After an investigate location, search the Chaos Bag for a 3 tokens sealed. And he got like a crazy amount of soak. He now soaks for 3. I think that's a cool card. I think that's fun. Yeah, I like a lot of these Survivor cards. I like this one a lot. I think this one's neat. The Angel of St. Mary's is cool. I like this card. This card, I think the design is really nice. I actually like a lot of these cards. Don't like the Death Owl just because he scares me. Alright, and then we got our 4 multi-class cards. Alright, we got Morphine. Uses 3 supplies. Internet's down again. Let's pause. Alright, Morphine. 3 supplies. When you take any amount of damage, spend 1 supply and exhaust Morphine. You take that damage at the end of your next turn instead. That is a cool card, but that is going to be really hard to remember. You just like... I would actually... You know what I would do? I would just make it so when you take any amount of damage, spend a supply, exhaust Morphine, place that damage on Morphine. And then take that at the end of your next turn, take that damage. Put that damage on you take that damage. Just so you like can remember it, you know? Because I'll forget this if I play this card. I like the design, though, the flavor behind it. And then the level 1 version is when you take any amount of damage, spend a supply, exhaust, you take that damage at the end of your next turn, and you may choose to take that damage as horror. I love it. Cool card. But just like a really hard memory issue for my little brain. Salt and Light. 3 cost, permanent, exceptional. Guardian and Mystic. This is Seeker and Rogue, by the way. Guardian and Mystic. After doom is removed from a card under your control and that card is not discarded from play, you may place 1 resource on Salt and Light as an offering. After doom is removed from a card you control and that card is not discarded from play, you may place 1 resource on its offering. Okay. When you would take damage or horror, when you would draw a treachery card from the encounter deck, outside of the Mythos phase, spend 1 offering, exhaust, Salt, and Light, and cancel that effect. Okay. So just like a payoff to removing doom from cards. It is very expensive. So it's like one of those things where like you could run this in Sin Eater, but it's going to cost you 12 experience, and your deck actually hasn't improved, right? So it's one of those things like you're going to choose one or the other. I like it. And then we got Goetic Patron. 2 cost, Survivor Mystic, soaks for 2 and 2, it's an ally. When Chaotic Patron enters play, choose a type of asset slot. Hand, body, arcane, ally, tarot, accessory. Not footwear. You get 1 additional slot of that type. Forced. When you use any printed ability on an asset in a slot granted by Goetic Patron, put 1 doom on that asset. This doom may cause the agenda to advance. Very interesting. Like, you're going to choose tarot and just run 2 tarot cards, right? Or just like something that doesn't require printed abilities. I like the design a lot. The downside on the card is very spooky. The art is also very spooky. It is a daemon after all. I like it though. I like it. I think there's a lot of really cool player cards here. If I have to give 1 player card my trophy, that'll be none other than
Pugilist.
Because I think that card just absolutely intrigued me for the potential design space that it could explore. So down in the description for this video, there is a link to the workshop file for this. This is also like early version, so I imagine we're going to see some tweaks as it's going to go. But I thought this was really cool. And a big thanks to aughhhh for, aughhhh. I don't know. I don't know how to say it like in normal conversation. I can't say it without like a little bit of a flair. So, I'm curious to see the changes that might come, and I definitely think this is another one that I want to put on my list into player card expansions that I would love to print one day for myself to play with my own cards. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. My apologies for the weird cuts whenever the internet died. I don't know what's happening. I think something's wrong with the internet cable. But in the meantime, have a great one. Thanks for watching. I'll probably do something where we play with these investigators, do a little standalone with them in the near future. But in the meantime, have a good one. I love you all. And as always, a GG's.